Hey everybody, and welcome to the 13th episode of the Premodern Showdown series. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined once again with Flint Espel. Say hi, Flint.
Hey everybody.
And tonight you can see what we have in store for us. We have a match between Ron Taylor and Michael Arnold, and David Daniel against Andrew Walker is our late night match. So I'm going to quick pull up a graphic we have. As we are in our last week before we cut to our top four, we want to show who's still in the running to make the playoffs. So let me pull that up. Here we go. So here we are showing that Ron, so he's playing right now with Michael Arnold. They are both clinched for the playoffs. Ron is clinched the first seed, so regardless of whether he wins or loses this match tonight, he still will be in first place. And Michael and Patrick have the same record, so they are clinched for the top four. If Michael wins and Patrick loses, then Michael will be in second and Patrick would be in third. But potentially they still could be tied and could go to tiebreakers. But the fourth spot is where things get a little dicey. We got four other players that still are live for that last slot. So Andrew Walker currently sits with a record of 2-2-2. So if he wins tonight, he is in. Nothing can stop. He will have 3 wins and 2 draws. He will have more points than anyone else would be able to get. So for Jared to get that fourth place, he needs to win and he needs Andrew to lose. So then Robin, things are a little bit more difficult for him. He needs to win. Andrew needs to lose. And Jarrett also needs to lose. And then lastly, but not least, David, he needs to win. So if he wins, he's playing Andrew. So that second one of Andrew losing will automatically happen. And then Jared and Robin also need to lose. So he needs to string together a few things to go his way, but he still has an opportunity to make the playoffs. Then unfortunately for Mike Harris, he is unable to make the playoffs at this point, but he still has a match ready to play, so he's looking to go 2-5. So,
And Mike, you're still number one in our hearts.
Yes. Okay, so let's go over to the decks that Ron and Mike Arnold have available to him. So right now we have the Landstill deck up. Flint, do you want to talk about this deck?
It's not up yet on my screen. Is this Ron's or Mike's?
This is Ron's.
Sure. So the Landstill deck is classic blue-white, using Standstill to buy time and draw cards. Lots of counter magic, and then finishing the opponent off with man lands or with a big degree of justice.
And then his Reanimator deck.
Yeah, we talked about it a bunch, so I won't go too into detail here, but quickly put cards in the graveyard with Putrid Imp or a Careful Study. Has some creature selection with the Worldly Tutor. That's kind of Ron's spin here, but basically looking to play a big mean creature on turn 1 or turn 2.
And then his last deck is the Stasis deck.
My favorite, of course, mono blue, tons of counter magic, get a stasis into play, and then use lots of quote unquote free cards or alternate casting cost cards to return lands to your hand, replay them to pay for stasis. Also, Forsaken City really shines in this deck. Maybe the only deck it shines in. I know it's been played in other decks and extended, for example, but this is by far where it shines the most. Lots of card draw on Ron's deck, so he can continue discarding cards to untap the city and pay the cost for stasis, and eventually kill the opponent with Black Vice.
Okay. I have the Angry Ghoul up for Mike Arnold, so this deck is looking to put Hermit Druid into play, activate it, mill the entire deck, and then reanimate a Sutured Ghoul and win the game by that being a lethal threat. So it can be very fast, powerful, and has a little bit of disruption, so it's always one of the decks that I'm afraid of. I know if I were playing these, I've often chosen to ban this deck. The Elves deck is a go away tribal strategy. It has a lot of fast mana with 8 1-drop elves and that make mana, and then has some disruption elements in terms of Tanglewire, and then also has some payoffs in terms of natural order that can get Hermit Druid, Coat of Arms, which will pump his team, and Overrun, which can just make his wide board a lethal threat. And then his last deck is the Standstill deck, and it's pretty similar to Ron's. It's got a few different things. He has a Cunning Wish package, and he's heavier on some counter magic. He's got 4 absorbs. So it would be interesting if those two head off. Well, who has the deck that's better in the mirror? So I'm going to jump over to the ban screens. Flint and I are going to make some predictions based on these decks. So each of these players are independently going to ban one of their opponent's decks. That player will not be able to bring that deck to the match tonight. So we are going to predict what they're going to do. So Flint, if you're Ron, you have to ban one of Michael's decks. What are you going to ban?
Hold on, I'm just paying my 1 blue and 1 colorless mana to cast predict here,
Sure.
and I think that if I'm Ron, I will ban. I'd probably ban elves.
Okay.
Honestly, I think it's a go wide strategy. It's quick. It doesn't rely on 1 or 2 key cards to really shine, and I think it could go wide against stasis or land still. Reanimator. There's the question of whether or not Reanimator could race it, but I think it's good against 2 of Ron's 3 decks at least. So I think that's the deck that I would ban.
So originally I was thinking that Hermit Druid would be the deck that would be banned. But then when I was kind of looking at it, because Ron is at least going to have available the Landstill or the Stasis deck, I think you're fine bringing those against the Hermit Druid because the Stasis has a bunch of counter magic and it has Chain of Vapor. Those are cards that the Hermit Druid deck has to worry about. And the Landstill deck has counter magic and has Swords to Plowshares. So I think I would also ban the Elves deck. I think it just might have the opportunity to go wide and lock things out with like a Tanglewire and just steal a game. So I would also ban the Elves deck for if I were Ron.
Makes sense.
So if you are Michael, what are you banning?
This is a little trickier for me. I mean, I think that he can grind with Ron in terms of the Stasis and Landstill matchups if he plays his own Landstill deck, especially since his is pretty counter heavy. I think he's still probably not favored against Stasis, but he may be favored against Landstill. Angry Hermit, like we were just saying, I think there are so many ways for Ron's decks to interact with it that I'm thinking about which deck is potentially the scariest of Ron's. It may just be Reanimator. That may be the deck that I am most afraid of on Michael's side, because certainly Land still can interact with it on some level, but maybe still not fast enough unless you have a Swords. So I think that would be the deck that I would probably ban.
Okay. If I'm Michael, I'm going to be banning the Stasis deck. That's pretty notorious for something that is really good against Landstill. Like you were talking about Mike's version being a little bit different. He does have, I think, 3 main deck disenchants, and then he has the Cunning Wish to get it. But there's still, like, if you look at his list, he's got 4 Absorbs, which I think are just too clunky against Stasis. And I think the Cunning Wishes could be also problematic because you're just spending a lot of mana to get the cards. So I I don't think enough would change. I don't think you want to leave Stasis unbanned and then go in and bring the standstill deck. I think you'd be at a big disadvantage. So I think I would just ban the Stasis deck, and I'm thinking that Ron, as a Reanimator player, doesn't want to play against Landstill, so I'm gonna guess Ron's gonna bring the Landstill deck, but I don't know if Michael's gonna bring the Hermit Druid or his own Landstill. So that'd be my prediction. So, do you have an idea what people are gonna bring?
Well, if they go with the bands that I said,
Sure.
then I think Mike probably brings Landstill and Ron probably brings Stasis.
Okay. All right, so let's go over to the match. You can let the players know that they can get started.
Just did.
Okay. So I don't see any cards isolated, so I think that means that they are keeping their 7s.
All right.
So that's always good.
Oh, looks like Michael's on Hermit.
Okay, yep. So...
And it looks like Elves and Reanimator were banned.
Okay. Interesting that Okay, so that's what you said?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Ron's on Stasis, and it looks like we're probably going to take that Stasis.
Yeah, that seems... It's that or some Black Vices. Yep.
So not a lot of counter magic in Ron's hand here, so if he doesn't draw into an answer in the next turn or so, he could be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe part of it was that hand's really good against Landstill.
Yeah.
So I think he might have been hoping that he might have just like put Michael on playing the Landstill deck and was hoping just to get it. And I mean, the hand with the Stasis, I think it's okay that it might be able to beat the Angry Gold deck, but yeah, I'm guessing that he was thinking that he was up against the Landstill deck.
Ron drew the days, of course, to stop the Hermit, and so now Michael's forced to cast a Worldly Tutor for another.
What's Michael at? How many times has he tapped his Pain lands? 3 times?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Duress, Hermit Druid, and now the Worldly Tutor.
Yep, he's at 17.
Oh, now he went to 17, right? Or oh no, this is the second Hermit Druid he's cast. Sorry. Okay, I was looking at the. Oh, he didn't have to take a damage. He used Jumpstone Mine. I'm sorry. Okay, so he's still at 17. But has he taken damage from Black Vice? That's the other question. I can't read the die.
I don't know, and I think Ron's screen is frozen for me right now, so I can see Michael's, and I know that the Hermit Druid was countered, but I can't see what happened. Oh, there it was. It said another days.
Well, Ron has him at 16, but...
Yeah, 16.
I don't know if I need to refresh or if Ron does.
Is he frozen on yours as well?
At least it moved. I see a hand on there now. But, yeah, his hand is frozen. Do you want to tell him to refresh quick? We'll see how that works.
Yeah, sure.
And if that doesn't solve it, then I will try refreshing things. Okay, so in the meanwhile, we have had 2 Hermit Druids get countered, and now Michael Arnold is casting a Limdol's Vault. So he is going to try and refill things. So you can see me for a bit.
Alright. Hey, Ron. Alright, I'm going to mute Ron here.
Okay. I'll bring up Limdol's Vault.
Everybody gets a quick peek at Ron there.
Yeah. So this card...
The man behind the magic.
Yes. So this will allow Michael to set up... So he could do 2 things. He could be just searching for another Hermit Druid and try and resolve that. But the other option he has is to set up Shallow Grave, and then he can basically put a Hermit Druid into play at instant speed and be able to activate it right away. He won't have to wait for it to go through a whole turn cycle. So that one was from Mirage. So let's bring that up. So this is a threat that maybe not all Angry Ghoul lists we've seen have had, and so this could provide.
There it is.
Yep.
He's down to 13, by the way.
Okay.
So Arcane Denial, man, the counter magic never ends.
I mean, there is a ton of counter magic in the stasis deck.
Absolutely. It's what it does best.
Though I guess, given the way that we saw Ron's hand at the beginning, he certainly has drawn a lot of counter spells.
He's 3 for 3.
Okay, another Worldly Tutor.
Third Hermit Druid.
So who's done more damage, Michael or Ron?
I think probably Michael.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, all the damage has been done to himself, but...
Well, and that can be an issue because his only other reanimation spell is Reanimate, right? So it's not going to take much for him to die from a Black Vice if he goes for it and can't, for whatever reason, can't make it happen. Or like a Chain of Vapor. Oh, a Chain of Vapor would be brutal.
Yeah. And he might get, I don't know, he might get to the point where he's not even able to cast the Reanimate. So we see a Duress was played, and then Arcane Denial answers that. Yep. So Michael's at 11.
Yeah.
So Ron's just thinking 3 more damage, and then he only has to worry about like 3 more Shallow Graves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Michael draws 2 extra cards because of the Arcane Denial. I don't know how many cards it puts in his hand, but I don't know if there's a situation where Ron can get... It didn't look like he was taking damage from the Black Vice, so...
No.
Alright, Michael just has an Underground River, and then he passes a turn. So, end of turn Impulse.
Yep. I've thought a lot about the mana base in Angry Ghoul and whether or not it should just be green-black for the most part, with some other, with some fringe other lands and reflecting pools. Because Gilded Drake hasn't been that good for me, and you don't really need to play red. And so, white is really the only other color that you might want to play on some level, but even then it doesn't come up very often.
Well, Michael's playing Limdol's Vault. Are you saying you wouldn't play blue for those, or you just try and play it off of City of Brass and Gemstone Mine?
I may not play it.
Okay.
If you run the Living Wish Worldly Tutor package, then you don't really need Limdol's Vault.
Okay.
But I do really like the Vault.
Yeah, I think it's a very powerful card.
Yeah. I thought about it. I mean, this doesn't come up that often, but it certainly is relevant in this match.
So that's a Powder Keg coming down. Does that interact in any meaningful way?
It can kill Hermit Druids if they're summoning sick.
Yeah, that's...
But that's about it.
Because it doesn't get enchantment, so it won't be able to blow up a Dragon's Breath.
Nope.
But...
And that... It not getting enchantments and me forgetting that has cost me at least 1 game in Premodern. Hey, Comical Flop has a good point, though. Yeah, the keg can kill the Sutured Ghoul eventually. If the game goes long enough.
I mean, with 2 Black Vices in play, I feel like Ron's probably going to find a way to win before that, but yes, so, it's possible.
2 Gush, 1 Stasis, and 1 Chain of Vapor.
Makes sense that the Chain of Vapor was taken.
Yeah. Takes another point. Goes down to 10. Are we going to see the 4th Hermit Druid? We sure are.
All right, and this is just the turn he needed it because the powder keg doesn't have any counters on it right now. So Ron's going to respond by gushing, and he's looking for a way to counter that.
So I assume he didn't get it if he just placed his cards face down. I mean, you absolutely counter it if you have it. There's really nothing to think about here.
He's gushing again.
Oh, all right.
Yep. I mean, so if this gets countered, then I think Ron's still in okay shape because, yeah, he's picked up 1,000,000 of his lands, but pretty much Michael needs. I guess he has Reanimate and Shallow Grave, so 2 more cards go to Michael, and Ron is stuck with 2 Forsaken Cities, but he will pitch. I think it was an island.
Yeah.
Because he would rather have the mana right now. I mean, that makes sense. He's probably going to have to discard anyways if he's not playing enough. So the Forsaken City from Planeshift just looks like the worst card in the world on its own, but it interacts really well with Stasis because you're able to exile a card from your hand and then pay for Stasis. And even if you're tapped out, you can stack the triggers. They're both upkeep triggers, so you're able to untap the Forsaken City and then pay for Stasis. So really powerful card in this deck.
So good. So Michael's in tough shape now.
Yeah, because now we're going to have the Powder Keg is going to get up to 2 unless something's crazy is happening this turn, which would pretty much need to be a Shallow Grave into a Reanimate. Yeah. Or Shallow Grave into Shallow Grave.
Ron has drawn so many cards though, and he has lands in his hand. Like the probability that he has a foil now is so much higher.
Not necessarily, because I mean, I think I guess he drew, because you have to assume that the counterspell he drew on the last gush was it?
Gush.
Yeah, because otherwise I don't think he would have cast the second one. But he did draw an additional card from Arcane Denial and an additional card for his turn, and one of the other cards from the gush could have been another counterspell. So it's kind of like out of 3 cards. So that's a Reanimate, right? Reanimate takes 2 damage, but now Ron can
die, right?
Yeah, Ron can just put a counter in Powder Keg. Oh, very nice.
Dragon's Breath on the Hermit Druid.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. All right, going down to.
So, but the problem here, he's activating it now. He needs to have. But wait.
He's got a Shallow Grave in his hand.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough mana though. He only has one. Oh, he's the lowest pedal. It's
pedal
sorry.
in the city.
It's behind my card fetcher. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. All right. Is there another days? That's. Yeah. Okay. Oh. So, I think Ron might only have 2 days. I'm not sure. I think he used them both.
So he just needs the Sutured Ghoul on the top, right? Okay. So he's gonna go for it, and if Ron has any counter magic, it's game over.
Or a Chain of Vapor.
Yes. Correct.
And so, yeah, like foil, arcane. I don't know how many arcane denials are left. Foil, thwart. He could. Oh no, he can't. He cannot play thwart because I was thinking those 2 islands were in play. Those are not in play. So.
Oh no, he's casting Croson Reclamation, so he doesn't have the Shallow Grave. So he's flashing it back to get 2 Shallow Graves. So
okay. All right. Is that 2 Shallow Graves or is one a different card?
It looks like
2.
It was a Shallow Grave.
I don't know if you like go for duress and then just wait an extra turn, but
the problem is there's Stasis in play, right? So.
Oh yeah.
How's he gonna cast the Shallow Grave?
I mean, does he just have 2 lands in his hand? I mean, he might have forgot about it.
I guess if he's not scooping.
I forgot about it, so I can't blame him.
All right, land number 1.
There's a land. Yeah, but at this point, Ron's had a good number of draws, so.
Yeah.
All right,
All
he's going
right.
for it. Shallow grave. We see a that's thwart, right?
Or that's
Thwart.
game.
Thwart gets it
Oh
done.
man. Whew.
Well, who would expect this stasis deck to deck the opponent? I don't know.
Not I.
All right, so Ron picks up the first game. Let's go over to their decks to try and dissect what they're going to do for sideboarding. Um, let's
All
look
right.
at Michael's Angry Ghoul deck. So against a heavy permission deck, seems like Defense Grid is quite appealing.
Oh yes.
So I think those three come in. The I mean, do you want to bring in the second Corrosion Reclamation? That seems like the only other card I'd be really interested in bringing in. Is there something that you are looking at in the sideboard?
The crumble would be the only other thing for Tormod's Crypt.
Does Ron have Tormod's Crypt in his? I didn't think he did, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, he's got two.
Okay. All right, then yeah, you probably have to bring in some number. I like because you have Limdol's Vault. Bringing in like even just one copy of a sideboard card has a pretty good value because if you really need it, you're able to tutor for it.
Yep. And that's why I do like it in the deck. You can get these French cards like in Jared's version, you can get Mesmeric Beans or Duresses, and then you can certainly get those in Michael's version or the sideboard cards as well. Comical Flop asks, Steely Resolve versus Chain. So Michael, would you bring in Steely Resolve against Chain of Vapor?
Um, I would not
Ron-
because because a lot of the time I feel like I don't know. You're never going to be able to Steely Resolve and have it do anything against Dragon's Breath. You'd still be able to Chain of Vapor that. I mean, I guess then the Ghoul. I'm trying to think. I guess you have Corrosion Reclamation. Maybe it's a possibility, but I don't know. It's not an angle I really like to fight because you're already bringing in some number of cards. There's not just like that many cards you can take out of the Angry Ghoul deck, in my opinion. I would not bring in Steely Resolve.
I don't think that I would either. I think I would bring in the 3 Defense Grid, and then it's just a matter of how many crumbles you think that you need. It's a number that it's at least one.
Yeah, I would say 1 to 2. I don't think you bring in any more than that.
Yeah. What do you take out?
Well, this is more your expertise. um, let's see. Probably a couple of unmasks. I don't know. I mean, like it seems good, but like you having to spend 2 cards to get it countered doesn't seem appealing. I don't know.
I would take out 4 unmasks and 1.
I take out a Worldly
Limp
Tutor. I don't know.
I would take out a Limdol's Vault.
Okay.
That's probably what I do. Just given the Lotus Petal.
Well, that's only 3 though. You said you wanted to bring in some number of. You were taking out all the unmasks.
Yeah, I think I'd take them all out.
Okay.
I just don't like him in this matchup.
Yeah.
But
So, do you think things get better for the Angry Ghoul deck?
unfortunately, no. Unless if he has a lightning fast opener because he's going to be on the play. Like, I mean, if he can go turn 1 Hermit Druid, with Ron not having Chain of Vapor, and I think he's in very good shape. But if he can't do that, then it gets worse for him every single turn as the game goes on.
So what if Michael's game plan, let's say he doesn't take out of the unmasks and takes out a large number of the Worldly Tutors and really relies on forcing through a Defense Grid. So that would give him the option of going either Duress into Defense Grid or Unmask into Defense Grid. Do you think that's a reasonable game plan against the Stasis deck? Because it is so permission based.
It could be. It could be. If that happens, then the only thing that stops him is, the chain of vapor.
Yeah.
But
But,
yeah, no, that's not a bad plan. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I like
yeah.
that too.
All right. It looks like the players are just getting ready, so we'll jump over to
Okay,
them.
I will let them know that they may go ahead.
So if you are the Angry Ghoul deck, and you have the potential for like a turn one Hermit Druid, basically, are you going all in if you don't have any like disruption in terms of duress or um, unmask? You're never going to see Ron's hand. Are you just gonna, if you can just
Yeah,
try and
it's
go
a
for
good
a turn
question.
two win, would you do it? Because there's dazes and chain of vapors that would interact.
Yeah, so I think if I'm going to go all in and actually try to play turn one druid, I actually keep the unmasks in and I board out the duresses. If I want to try to be more resilient and take the route that you mentioned, where you can actually try for a duress into a defense grid, then I board out the unmasks.
Okay.
I think it depends on what you want to try to do.
So if a Torment's Crypt comes down, he has to have Crumble, right? There's
Yep.
not really any way for it to play around it.
Nope.
Okay.
You got to destroy the Tormod's Crypt. The only way that he doesn't have to is if Ron, like, let's say he has two shallow graves, you're right? Then Ron, he plays a reanimate. Ron sacks the crypt and then he shallow graves in response.
Okay.
Then that would work, right? Um, but other than that, yeah, you got to get rid of the crypt.
That could be really interesting though, if that's what it comes down to.
That would be amazing to see.
Yeah.
Ron's a pretty savvy player though, so I feel like he would probably have some counter magic backup, especially
Sure.
since he has so much of it in his deck.
Okay, we see a
All
turn one
right,
Hermit Druid.
there's our boy. Premodern bad boy right there. Van Guilty with a reference to old school kitchen table magic. I love it. So, Michael, I'll tell you the story in just a second. I'll explain that. So, duress, what do we see?
A chain of vapor. Is that a second? No, a chain of vapor, a thwart, a foil, an impulse, and an ensnare. Let's bring up ensnare.
So he's got to take the chain of vapor here, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So a bunch of my friends and I were playing kitchen table magic, and we had overserved ourselves, if you catch my drift. And one of my friends played this old school like rabid wombat deck, and we had, I don't remember how, but one of us had played a Dan Dan. You remember Dan Dan?
Oh yeah, I know that one.
The 4/1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the picture, there's the boat, but then you can see the silhouette of the fish under the water.
Yep.
And my friend, it was a little inebriated, and he was like, "It's an empty boat. I
Oh
don't get it.
yeah.
What the hell good is an empty boat?" And we just couldn't stop laughing. We thought it was the funniest thing in the world
Oh,
because
I
he
mean,
couldn't let it go.
uh, I mean, for the longest time, I thought that was card, and I was never inebriated, so uh,
It was really 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 funny for us at the time.
yeah, that I'm trying to pull that card up. Yeah, so
Yes.
yeah, that one I just thought it was a boat for the longest time. I never saw that fish.
What
Okay,
good is
so
an empty boat? All
in
right.
the
Yep.
meanwhile, a defense grid has resolved, but then also a card that we didn't talk about coming out of
Curse totem.
the sideboard is Curse Totem. So with the Hermit Druid tapped, or with it, I mean with it, with a Curse Totem in play, it's just a 1/1. Where are we at for life totals? What is Ron at?
Ron is at 18, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from this point, he pretty much still needs a crumble, right? I mean, he can attack with a 1/1 for a bunch of times, but
Yeah, probably not going to go the distance.
no. He could play a morph and then start attacking with that, right?
It's yeah, he could. The Cloud Scraper.
Yep.
Can you activate Morph if a Curse Totem's in play?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Comical Flop says he always saw the fish, never noticed the boat was empty.
All right. Well, opposite of what I perceive to be everyone. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people I've talked to have not noticed the fish and just saw the boat. So, but maybe I'm wrong. Why is this Hermit Druid not attacking?
Maybe he's worried about a stasis coming down and tapping him out.
Yeah, but all right, that's fair, I guess.
Just trying to deal with one thing at a time. The problem is, it's just Ron's position gets better and better and better every turn that passes.
Yeah, and
Michael's
also
deck
like
is not set up to grind.
also the thing like with the stasis deck is there's not that much of a reason to play stasis when your opponent has 4 untapped mana, and you're just gonna have to pay for stasis over and over and over. I mean, I guess he does like have Forsaken City and whatnot, but it's still just gonna allow Michael to set up a position and then go for a turn. So I don't think Ron would want to play stasis in this position really. Yep, just more islands are coming into play for Ron.
Yep, hitting those land drops. Maybe Michael's just saving up to pay the straight up Cloud Scraper mana.
Either how many mana sources are in Michael's deck?
More than 10. Is it 10 for the Cloud Scraper? Like 7 and 3 green?
I don't remember. Let's pull it up. I probably spelled it wrong, but all right. It costs 10 to play, and you get a wonderful discount of one less to morph it. It still costs 9 to morph.
It's 9 to morph.
So what happens when you spend all that mana for Corrosion Cloud Scraper? Also, you wouldn't be able to just hard cast it because you'd be afraid that Ron would have stasis, and then you just wouldn't be able to pay the upkeep. But what might happen is you play it as a morph, they eventually get the 9 mana, and then it's just going to get Chain of Vapored.
That's why you need to unban Flash, so you could just flash in at the end of turn, right?
Ah, okay. We see a hard cast Gush, which is not something you always see.
No. Oh, Narcissism subscription.
Ah, thank you. Thank you for the Prime subscription.
Thanks, Patrick. Comical Flop, I agree that if you were going to unban Flash, that would have to be the ban you would have to make. But if you do that, you don't really open the format to a lot of cool decks that are going to use Flash. Whereas I think with Academy Rector, you have many more creative decks that you can build.
Yeah, I don't think like Flash adds anything positive really.
No.
Like
No,
what?
it really doesn't add anything. Those two can't be in the format at the same time, absolutely. But the format's just much more diverse with Academy Rector in play. And Flash really just doesn't add any legit flavor that I've thought of, at least. Maybe people in chat disagree and have some ideas.
So is he discarding the hand size? I see a Suture Gold went to the graveyard.
Oh no. second totem.
Yeah. So I mean, I was to say, is there a world where Michael can look to just discard the fatties and then reanimate the suture ghoul? But there's just so many things that can go wrong.
Comical flop, I agree. Yeah, Penumbra Worm and Symbiotic Worm are fun, but yeah, that's two cards and it gets you a worm. I mean, Reanimator does the same thing. Like, why don't we just keep Academy Rector so we can have, Pattern of Rebirth, and we can have Pebbles, and we can have Recycle combo, Cheerios. Like, there are so many creative combo decks that use Academy Rector within like a combination of cards in a beautiful synergy versus just like, yeah, I get a 6/6 worm or I get a bunch of 1/1s, but Reanimator's going to do that anyway. So again, I see your point. Like Flash certainly could play a role, and there are interactions, but I just don't think the format is as rich without Academy Rector in place of Flash. That being said, it would be fun to Flash in a Symbiotic Worm. Sorry, Michael, what's going on?
Uh, Not much.
Every stasis game ever.
So, a worldly tutor put, I think it put Crush a Cloud Scraper on the top. I think his plan is just to draw and go. Well, I mean, I guess he could cast this Cloud Scraper because, like, other than stasis, there's not. Oh, I haven't not been adjusting life totals. Is this the first time he's attacked? Yes.
Ron's at 17.
Yeah, I don't. Why?
Michael's at
How many attacks has Michael just not done with that Hermit Druid?
several.
Yeah.
There's the keg. All right, the goblins have brought the party.
So I guess in terms of the Cloud Scraper, because I was to say, the yes, if it gets stasis and it's tapped, then it's bad. But it's like you might as well just cast it as a 2/2 and try and attack with it a few turns. I mean, unless you really think you're just going to go off and like reanimate this suture goal right away. I would rather have a 2/2 in play and try and attack with it.
I think if Ron were at a lower life total and Michael's all in on that strategy, then that makes sense. But the problem is he really does rely on a couple of cloud scrapers for his for his combo. So he's got to be careful because if it just sits in play tapped, then his outs are greatly diminished.
Yeah, I feel like you could just attack with the 2/2 and then not attack with the Hermit. I guess the Hermit can't activate anyways, so I don't know. But
Yeah. I mean, that might be his best option here because there are two totems in play, and we don't know how many crumbles Mike boarded in.
mm-hmm.
And so he needs at least two, and he's not in great shape. So the 2/2 beatdown may actually be better than trying to use the druid at this point.
Well, especially when you see like this kind of hand, like so Duress took. There were two thwarts, a foil, a gush, an ensnare, a chain of vapor, and arcane denial. So it's like, and he took a thwart. So it's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, ugh.
That's rough.
So this powder keg is a little awkward for Ron because if he's putting it at 2, it will blow up his own curse totems. It would blow up the defense grid and the Hermit Druid. But I think he obviously wants to get it to 2 because it doesn't. I guess it does something on 0 in terms of morph, but you can put it at 2. I think you want to do that and say, okay, if I ever get to a spot where I do need to cast counter spells, I'll blow up my 2 curse totems, kill his Hermit Druid, and get rid of the defense grid. So the 1/1 is attacking.
So Comical Flop says we could unban it 1 week just for fun, which actually makes me think, Michael, for the next gauntlet that we do, we should do an unban Premodern gauntlet where we have users, like people in the group, submit deck lists and then vote on them, and then we just create like a broken gauntlet.
Yeah, we could do that. I would want to play a deck with Tolarian Academy. Please submit a deck. Oh no, wait.
I want to play
Uh,
Memory Jar and Yawgmoth's Will.
I,
So
I'll take the
and
minds.
Necropotence
I'll take the Mind's
and
Desire deck.
Necropotence.
I'll take the Mind's Desire deck,
All right.
and the Tendrils of Agony deck. Please bring them to me. I'll take those.
I want Jar. I want Yawgmoth's Will. I want Necropotence. I want Mana Vaults. Dark Rituals.
So Flint, I think, had said before that if all the cards were unbanned in Premodern, not including the anti ones, that you could build a deck that would consistently go off turn one. And I disagreed. I don't think it would consistently go off turn one. That's what your claim was, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you guys think? Do you think if all the excluding the anti cards, would there be a Premodern deck that could consistently go off on turn one if all the other cards were banned or unbanned? Sorry.
Thanks, Patrick. So speaking of grim monoliths, it's looking grim for Michael Arnold here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I really think his. I mean, I don't know if that morph would have resolved, but I would have liked his position a lot better if he had that morph in play. Oh, my friend just started playing Among Us. Can I just leave? That's. I have joined the Among Us craze, and I have really been enjoying it. So.
That's awesome. I just ordered most of the parts to build my new computer.
It's not a very. You've seen the game, right? It's not like it's like a complex game.
Look, I don't want to be caught. If I'm the imposter, I don't want to be lagging when I need to be, murking people. So, I'm not taking any chances. But I will join you once that's up and running.
I agree there'd be a broken Storm or Tendrils deck. I just don't think it would consistently be able to go off on turn one.
See, Narcissism knows what's up. Quad core, 16 GB RAM. I gotta get the good stuff.
Well, that's funny because the other game that I played was the Age of Empires, and when they redid Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, like that game actually needed a lot of resources to run on, like, which is kind of funny because the game it used all the same coding I think from 20 years ago. I don't think they started over from scratch. Okay, I've missed 2 attacks. So Ron's at 13. So again, is he just discarding it? I feel like I would cast that guy. Discarding the Corrosion Cloud Scraper.
Yeah, so what's his game plan here?
I don't know, but I mean, like, if you got to attack, why wouldn't you want another 2/2 in play? I mean, I think it's the Shallow Grave plan, right?
Must be. It's just there's so much counter magic in Ron's hand.
Well, and there's a chain of vapor,
much mana,
and there's an ensnare. I mean, because I guess Ron, if he needed to play a bunch of counter spells, he would activate the Powder Keg for 2.
Cavern of Souls, you might be right. Maybe he didn't consider the morph option. So it's looking more like Hoyt may have been correct here with the morph play.
It just seems like there's not that much downside. Like, if it gets countered, it's in the same spot. And if it doesn't, I guess maybe...
Oh, is he going to hard cast Foil or Thwart here?
Nope, here we have an Impulse.
Oh, he's just playing an Impulse, okay.
5-mana Impulse. What a deal.
I will impulsively pay 5 mana for this spell.
All right. So do you think Ron has a stasis in play? Oh, that... All right. I don't know what Mike does now.
I think Mike just scoops.
I mean, he's got a 1/1. I mean, I would play my turns quickly and just keep attacking with that 1/1. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's very likely that he is going to be able to reanimate anything. But even then, I mean, like, this powder keg is eventually. I guess I'm trying to think if when would Ron feel the need that like he needs to pop this powder keg, that he feels at risk of the like a 1/1 killing him.
Is it still at 2?
Yes.
Interesting. I mean, I think that's correct.
But you can't cast the Cloud Scraper because you're just afraid of stasis.
Oh
And
yeah,
you,
absolutely.
then you won't be able to play the upkeep.
Yeah,
Plus, you do know there is a Chain of Vapor in play
yeah.
or in hand.
Hard
Also,
casting Cloud Scraper and then a stasis dropping is just brutal.
okay, we see
All right.
reanimate. Okay. Well, I mean, I would fire off the Torment Script, right?
How many Cloud Scrapers are in the
I
graveyard?
guess. Oh, okay. I mean, I guess the one thing it does is this deals 10 damage to
To
Mike.
Yeah.
Like Ron might just have stasis, and then he could ensnare, and then stasis, and then the Cloud Scraper is gonna die because of the upkeep. Eventually, won't be able to be paid if there's a stasis in play, or he's just gonna Chain of Vapor it. So he paid 4. Is Mike gonna bounce it back? Would you sack a land here? Is there anything you want to bounce? Like Powder Keg? I don't. Like, doing Tormod's Crypt doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, that's a good question.
He's discarding that guy?
Yep.
I feel like you need those. I mean, as 1/1s. Like, that's.
Yeah.
I
Go the distance.
mean, I'm not saying they would go the distance, but. Or there's a Black Vice in play, and if Michael's been discarding to hand size,
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's not. Well, he's probably got cards he could play. Right? He's going to take 3, right?
Yep. He's at 5.
5? Why is he at 5?
He was at 8 before.
Oh, I had him at 10.
Sorry. I mean, the rough thing here, though, is too, is like a lot of his lands are pain. You know, he's got 2 mines and an undiscovered, which is good, but he still has to be careful about what he plays.
Yeah.
All right, Ron's down to 10.
Oh, I had him at 13, so that's just like Christmas for Mike. So much hope. 10 turns to 13. All right. I mean, Mike's got to play stuff, otherwise he's going to die to the Vice. And... Yep. Okay, and we know there's an Arcane Denial. So that's kind of awkward for Mike because he does not want to draw the cards at this point.
No, he does not.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. So was Stasis in play the last? Stasis wasn't play the last game. I was gonna say it'd be funny if Ron won the match without ever casting Stasis, but
There's the morph.
okay. What do you think it is?
Exalted Angel.
All right, I'll say Willbender. Oh,
Oh, it was a Cloud Scraper. God, we were way off. Samsonite. I was way off.
I wonder if any of the Goblin decks could play Goblin Taskmaster. Do you think you'd ever Goblin Matron for a Goblin Taskmaster? Do you know what that card does?
I don't remember. What does he do?
It's a 1-mana 1/1, and for 1 and a red, target Goblin gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and then it also has Morph.
Oh.
All right, we see corrosion reclamation, but it will get basically countered because of Tormod's Crypt. So is there... I was going to say, oh, is this an opportunity for a Shellgrave? I guess not. Tree Spring Lorien. Is that...
Shallow grave.
That's the 5/4 one, right? Tree Spring. Yes, I got it right.
Hey. I think James might be a little sarcastic.
We just start talking about random morphs.
Yes,
It's an
yes.
easy way to do it.
Our morph commentary keeps people coming back week after week after week.
All right. I don't know how many cards are in Michael's hand. Didn't look like he adjusted his life total, so he might be under the black vice. Ron goes to 9. See, this game's really close, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm Team Hermit Druid all day, and at the same time, I just
Well, there's a
it's
crumble
pretty
now.
grim.
Is this for black vice? What are you crumbling? A powder kit?
He's gonna crumble the keg. Oh wow.
Interesting. Defense grid is gone. Okay.
Yep.
Ron does not gain any life, though.
No sir.
Uh,
All right.
Another Hermit Druid. Okay. But there's still... I mean, he probably has 2 Shallow Graves in his hand, right? Okay. I was going to say, it seems like an okay line. But obviously there's a million counter spells in Ron's hand. Arcane Denial. And I don't even know how many cards Michael's able to draw off it because of Black Vice. Looks like he drew 1.
You think we just see a stasis come down here? Not yet. Nope. Ron's just gonna wait for Michael to make his move.
Yeah. Did he tap that for mana? Oh, okay. So now he picks it up. So does he take damage?
He may. I don't know how many he has in his hand. Yep, he's
So.
gonna take 1. Antuca Vigilante.
All right. I don't know if I played against that card yet. I know I played around it one match. Because my opponent was playing like the Rock and had a Morph in play, and I was playing Heartbeat combo or Mana Flare combo.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, oh man. But then it was a Hystrodon, and I'm like, I was so excited that he flipped it over to draw a card. I'm like, I don't have to play around Nantuko Vigilante now.
The cost to morph it is pretty high though, right?
The Vigilante?
Yeah.
It's 2.
It's just 2? What's the... Oh,
It's
okay.
4
For some
mana
reason I
to
thought it was more
play.
than that.
The Hystrodon is 1 green to flip. Alright, so we saw... what just happened? I see a Duress.
Duress, and he took a boomerang.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a miserable feeling when you like look at that hand and you're like, all right, how am I gonna do this? So Ron has not drawn a stasis, right?
No, I mean, he has 1 unknown, but
Unless that one card is a stasis. But I mean,
the one he just drew, yeah.
because we've not seen there's no stasis in the graveyard, and yeah.
Hardcast Gush. Wow.
I wonder, like, do you think he takes out any number of the stasises?
Stasi?
Sure. Do you think that's ever card? I mean, like, are there times? Because if it just doesn't do anything, I guess that most of the time, like, if you're worried about the combo, you either get hit with it or you don't. I don't know. it'll be interesting if I, that would be really cool if he did board out all the
If he
stasis.
took them out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't think he might have taken out some, but I don't know.
Comical flop. I think when you have Legends boomerangs that are signed by the artist, you can play them, but otherwise it's Richard Kane Ferguson all day.
What if you have a seventh edition foil one?
Only if it's signed by the artist. Otherwise, it's still Richard Kane Ferguson.
What about fifth edition? Do you know? Do you know what that one is?
I don't know what that one looks like. Are you pulling it up?
Yeah,
All right, I'll wait for it.
I don't know if this was originally in like a.
Oh, I remember that one.
Was this in like a normal set, or was it only just additional art for fifth edition? Or
Good question. Yikes. Not great.
is that like a goblin or what? It's or a cone
I don't.
head. I
It
don't know.
has like antlers or something. But it also maybe has aquatic
I thought those were his ears, but
hands.
I'm
Maybe
leaning
those
in.
are ears. Wow. And there's a Shakespeare quote. So who knows? Who knows?
All right. Life totals is Michael at 3. So he's getting into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
point where it's going to be hard to cast those spells. Just okay. We see a shallow grave. I don't think this shallow grave is going to resolve. So we saw a corrosion reclamation, and then Torment's Crypt was used, right? So now he's trying to shallow grave back a hermit druid,
Yeah.
activate it, and then have another shallow grave. But he
Yeah, he
just
has. It has to be another shallow grave.
But it's just like, look. I mean, we know about foil, we know about thwart, we know about ensnare. Like, what if Ron just, I was gonna say, let it resolved and then ensnared? There is a stasis to play now, so I missed that when I was looking up random arts for boomerang.
Priorities here on the Premodern Showdown series.
Yes.
It's not actually about the gameplay. It's about odd art variants.
I think they were realizing that that gemstone mine should have been sacrificed since it didn't have any counters.
Perhaps Michael was hoping there was a fourth piece of ore or some gem in there somewhere.
Mm. Well, for some reason, I think that card's like serrated arrow sometimes, and then it doesn't die until your upkeep. But no, it's just when the last counter is removed.
Just gonna check in on our time here.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay, a shallow grave. He's just casting this.
Yep, because he
There's no
doesn't want to take
targets.
the damage.
Yep. Desperate times come for call for desperate measures. I mean, can Mike do anything? Like, is it even possible for him to win now? I don't know if it is. I don't know.
I mean, Ron is at what, 9?
Yes. 8. 8, it
8.
looks like.
Yeah, maybe he's hoping to deck Ron.
Hmm.
Ron's library looks a little thinner than Mike's. And if Michael can continue to play under the Black Vice,
So is this when is this Chain of Vapor being cast? Is it on Ron's turn? Okay, so he's All right. So I think he was. Was he casting it on his own stasis, or was he casting it on the Lotus Petal?
Good question.
I mean, it looks like the Lotus Petal, given that nothing has returned for Ron. Ron's counting his deck. It seemed like there was a good number of cards
Yeah,
there.
there's a healthy number there.
I mean, I would guess like 12. I'm not sure. Black Vice. Oh, no, Powder Keg. Look at all those tapped islands. Oh man. I'm just waiting. I'd be like, I'm trying to think. How many spells? Okay, so how many non-damage? Okay, there's one undiscovered paradise,
Hmm.
and then the rest of his lands make him take damage for colored mana, right?
Hmm.
So there just aren't that many aren't that many spells that he can play.
There is duress.
Mm, a thwart. I think that actually helps Ron. I mean, Michael doesn't have a choice because he's probably gonna die if he doesn't cast his spells.
Yep.
But the picking up 3 islands, I think, is pretty beneficial. I think it'll just be a few more turns, and then I think Black Vice will finish off Mike. Ron looks like a poker player when he looks at his non-revealed cards in his hand.
He totally does.
All right, Michael's at 1. A Lim Dole's Vault. Just let that one resolve, right? What you can't even you can't. What spell are you gonna cast? All right. Do you think he's gonna look at the next 5 cards, right?
I would.
I think that's how he's gonna go out.
I totally would.
Nope.
Oh, no.
All right, he found the perfect 5 cards then, right away. How lucky! Looks like Ron can't do anything about it. Ron looks like he's got like 80 cards in hand. Here's a
Yeah.
land. Did he not take damage from a black face? I guess he cast a spell and played a land. All right. Wait, where's Ron's deck now?
I think Ron froze up on my end.
No, he's moving around on mine, but I just don't see his library. Did he really draw his entire deck? I thought he had a bunch of cards left. Wait. Did I swear there were a ton of cards left in Ron's deck? All of a sudden, it's just gone. Well, we're just confirming, I guess, that that's what happened. But I guess I thought that there were still a lot of turns left for Ron. But that'd be pretty cool if that's what happened.
I'm gonna refresh
Well, I
my
mean,
screen here.
they've picked up their decks. Like,
They said draw because there's only 3 minutes left in the round.
yeah, okay.
All
All
right.
right, so yeah, so wow, I did not realize that. I thought Ron had enough cards in his deck that Michael was not going to be able to cast the spells and was going to die to the black face, but it looks like I was wrong.
Well, they said draw and then never mind. So I think they're gonna try to see what the first X number of turns look like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna refresh mine here
Sure.
because Ron's. Hey guys, you playing a game 3? Okay. Okay, sounds good. I had to refresh anyway, so I'm gonna mute you guys again.
Yeah, Michael definitely has a chance to win quickly in game three.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Here we go. Did you see my mail day post today?
no, I did not.
Oh my goodness.
I saw you had like booster boxes earlier, didn't you?
I did. Let me show you let me show you this.
Did you get a dog in the mail?
I did get a dog in the mail. No, I got this.
Ooh, a Legends booster pack.
Yeah. I
Ooh,
did a live box opening.
cool.
So, unsearched, sealed. I just need Arabian Nights and Antiquities, then I have every single expansion and booster. Those should be easy to get, right? They're still printing those.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to donate a Antiquities pack and an Arabian Nights pack to the Flint Collection Fund, let me know. I
Okay,
will understand if I get no responses. All right, sorry.
Tormod's script was answered by Crumble.
Yep.
Duress is going to draw out an Arcane Denial.
Hmm.
And then we have a Worldly Tutor that will presumably get a Hermit Druid.
No.
What if the Hermit Druid deck played like a Xantid Swarm in the sideboard? I mean, there's Worldly Tutors in the deck and Limdo's
Yeah.
Vault. Also, you probably don't want to. You could end a turn. I guess it uses your combat phase. But I was gonna say you could like Shallow Grave a Xantid Swarm and then attack, but that's
Yeah, I don't think it's as good.
I don't know. I feel like one of them is fine. It might be better than Defense Grid. Like, what if you had two Defense Grid and one Xantid Swarm in the sideboard?
All right, I'm calling time right now.
Okay. Good old Xantid Swarm. All right, so we do see a Hermit Druid come down after the Duresso is countered. The Hermit Druid sneaks in, but it's kind of like it's almost awkward. You just don't feel that good about like activating Hermit Druid against a deck with a million counter spells.
Hmm.
So he didn't activate it on upkeep. So now he can end a turn, activate Hermit Druid, and then cast a Corrosion Reclamation, or he could. Oh, I've got a frozen Ron again. I could try refreshing, but
he's not frozen on my end.
all right. Well, I'll refresh real quick. Let me in right away.
Okay.
Oh.
With
You're good. I unlocked the room, so. All right.
Okay. So the Hermit Druid was activated. This is at
Yep.
end of Ron's turn, right?
I believe so.
Okay. So did you see how many Corrosion Reclamations were put into the
I mean,
graveyard?
he's doing it right now
Okay.
on my end, and it looks like I can't make it out. Oh, it looks like he has two Corrosion
Yeah.
Reclamations.
Looks like they're at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 mana. This should be a thwart or a foil. Okay. So is Ron gonna try and just counter all the Corrosion Reclamations?
Yeah, I mean, if the second one gets dazed or
Or thwarted?
thwarted here, it's just game over.
Yes. His plan will be thwarted. I'm thinking it's thwart.
Looks like he's gonna do it upkeep so he can pay for a daze.
I think it's thwart though.
All right, it's
Yes.
game.
His game plan has been thwarted. So everyone's just getting decked. That's just what happens, I guess. Oh, there's a shallow grave. Ooh. Ooh.
Hold on. Spicy follow up.
Oh, there's a chain of vapor. Oh my goodness.
Oh, awesome games. Wow, that was great.
That was I did not see that coming, but Ron had it under control.
Yes.
So
Oh, wow.
that should give the win to Ron.
Yeah.
He's remains undefeated for the round robin play. He will have the first seed. All right, let's jump over the general chatting and we can see if we can hear a little bit about them. Let me.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Good games. Woo.
I'm surprised we finished the third one.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even think about shallow grave at the end there, so that was I thought I'm like, oh, Ron's dead, and then you have the chain of vapor. He's not dead. He won.
Well, he
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have drawn to death, and I just did that for. Yep.
Yeah, but if he doesn't have chain of vapor there and the shallow grave resolves, you win because of.
No, because
I have 0 cards in library.
Oh.
So he still would have had to go through a draw step with an empty library.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
I've never heard of this draw step. I'm calling shenanigans.
There was an obstinate familiar in play. You just didn't see it.
Also necropotence, but that's an issue for another time.
Yep. I should have taken the draw at the end of game 2 right there. I pressed my luck too much against him.
Interesting. All right, so Ron, you took out a stasis and 2 Black Vice and a Forsaken City.
Yeah, I didn't foresee Black Vice being important in those games. He's able to stay under Vice pretty easily. I can't believe I did it. I should have countered that last Limdol's fault the second game. That was a bonehead move.
Yep, he would have won because it would have given me 5 cards. 5 cards.
To keep him putting lands on top.
Oh, interesting. I did not even think of that. I was just joking. We thought Michael was going to pay an extra life just to look at the next 5 cards and then die. Well, when you picked up your library at one point, I thought you had like 12 cards still in your library, but apparently you didn't have that many because it seemed like
I had like 5.
Yeah, it seemed like only a few turns later that you ran out because all of a sudden like your deck was gone. I'm like, where'd your deck go? Where's your library? And then so I just didn't know what was going on.
We actually have no idea what's going on in these matches. We just say random stuff, so it's
We
okay.
were talking about random things like random morphs and arts on Boomerang. That's what we were talking about.
So I asked if the Legends pack was tonight's Mythic Society giveaway.
No
Oh.
way. That is the third to last pack that I needed to complete my collection.
Only if Flint is the only one allowed to enter in the raffle.
Yeah. Hey, I won. Woo!
Rigged.
All right, good times, good times.
All right, congratulations to both of you. You guys are both in the top 4, so
We made it.
we'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you next week.
All
So,
right.
so.
I wish I could have, pulled it out for the Team Hermit, but
Yeah.
sadly no.
I know, Michael. I was with you. Team Hermit all the way.
All right. We'll see you guys. Catch you next
All
time.
right, sounds
Have a
good.
good night.
Take it
Good luck
easy,
in the
Michael.
game.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to take a very short break. We're going to get our other players set up, and then we're going to start right away. So it'll just be a few minutes as soon as our other players are ready. So just sit tight, just watch these, we'll call them ads, I don't know, our friends of the show, and we'll be right back. Okay, everyone, we are just have our other players set up. We have David and Andrew coming up. So this is a win and in for Andrew. If he wins this match, he is just in the fourth slot. He will be the highest, regardless of the other matches on Wednesday. So Andrew needs to win his match to get in, and then it's a clean cut to get in. If Andrew loses,
no pressure, Andrew. No
yes.
pressure.
if Andrew loses, then lots of doors open up. Then there are lots of opportunities. Either David, Robin, or Jared can win that fourth place slot. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. So let's go over to the decks that both David and Andrew have. The Draco Explosion deck for David it's a base of Machine Head, which is just like a red-black kind of mid-rangey control. But it has this combo element with Insidious Dreams that can put the combination of Draco and then Erratic Explosion. So it would draw the Erratic Explosion, cast it, reveal the top card, which would be Draco, and would deal 16 damage. And hopefully that'd be enough to kill the opponent. The Mana Flare combo from David. So this is looking to put a Mana Flare in play to double the mana of both players. And then it can untap lands with Early Harvest, Frantic Search, Turnabout, and then it looks to draw a bunch of cards with either with Frantic Search or Diminishing Returns, and then build up a storm count, and then or either build up a bunch of storm or build up a bunch of mana, and then use Temporal Fissure or Caveric's Torch to win the game. And then his opposition deck, which I call a hybrid between Blue-Green Madness and Opposition. It's got kind of the key players of Blue-Green Madness with Wild Mongrel, Arrogant Worm, Basking Rootwalla, Merfolk Looter. It has the counter magic of Circular Logic, but then it also has Opposition and Quiet Speculation, and so it has a little package with Cabal Therapies, Acorn Harvest, and it's a cool tempo aggro control deck. It's pretty cool. So Flint, I'm going to bring up the first deck for Andrew, which is his Oath deck. Do you want to say a few words about this one?
Sure. We've seen it a couple times on camera, and in my opinion, it's his strongest deck. It's his most resilient, most powerful. Uses Oath of Druids and Funeral Pyre to Oath into Phantom Nishobas, and has lots of ways to make the game go long.
Okay, his next one I have up is the Squeebind deck.
Basically a combination between Stormbind and Squee to continue discarding cards to take care of creatures and eventually the opponent. Also direct damage and Starstorm to manage creatures and life totals, and then Horn of Greed and Exploration to get some card advantage.
Okay, and the Blue-Green Enchantress deck. Let's tell us about this one.
I'm biased, but it's my favorite of his decks. Using Argothian Enchantress and Enchantress's presence to draw lots of cards, while he plays myriad enchantments and eventually uses Cloud of Fairies and Words of Wind to bounce all of his opponent's permanents and then chip away at their life totals. Okay,
so let's go over to the ban screen. If I am David, I am going to ban the Blue-Green Enchantress deck because I think actually David, I think he secretly wants to play his Heartbeat combo. I say Heartbeat, Mana Flare, his Mana Flare combo against either of Andrew's Oath or Stormbind deck. That's what I think. What I think he wants to happen. But so I'm going to ban the Blue-Green Enchantress deck. What are you doing, Flint?
I don't know.
Don't know?
This is tough. I think he either bans Oath or he bans Enchantress. My knee-jerk reaction is just to ban Oath because I think it's Andrew's strongest deck, like I said earlier. But it comes down to whether or not he can interact with the Enchantress deck in time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Draco Explosion could probably interact with it a little bit better than his other two decks. But it's still a bit of a gamble, especially if he's on the draw. So maybe he bans Enchantress, but my knee-jerk still tells me that Oath can probably go the distance against a lot of the decks, assuming that Andrew's going to ban Draco Explosion. Actually, I think Andrew probably bans Mana Flare.
So you think that? I mean,
yeah.
The thing is, so I'm just trying to think if Draco goes against the Oath of Druids deck.
Mhm.
Andrew can resolve an oath. That seems fairly likely. But then
Yep.
he also has to have um, a funeral pyre resolve.
Yeah.
But beyond that, Andrew doesn't have. I guess he has Zernorb. Zernorb would be like the key card, the most important card.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say
Absolutely.
he does have Worthy Cause, but like if you're never planning on triggering Oath, then I think David still might be able to. Because Andrew's likely to take a damage from a fetch land, then all he needs is a bolt and then the Insidious Dreams.
Mhm.
And I don't think Andrew can do that much about it. Game one, maybe game 2 and 3, maybe things change, but I don't know. So I do think David actually actively wants to bring in the heartbeat or the mana flare combo, but I don't know if Andrew will ban it. Do you think Andrew will ban the mana flare combo deck?
I think so. I mean,
Okay,
I think that he probably should.
all right. I think he's just going to ban the Draco deck, but I don't know. Just because I mean we've only seen the Mana Flare deck once, and it's not that common of a deck. I don't know. That would just be my intuition that Draco's going to be banned and that Blue Green Enchantress is going to be banned.
And I'm
But
gonna say Oath and Mana Flare.
all right, let's go over to the match and figure out
All right.
what they're doing.
I'll let them know they can start.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna pull up the bans here and take a look and see what was banned.
Okay.
It looks like Mana Flare was banned
Okay.
and Enchantress was banned. So
Okay.
we're both batting 500.
Sure. So then, I mean, you as David, you bring the. Oh, let me flip around Andrew's screen.
Can you hear my partner talking in the background?
Maybe a little bit, but not really. Okay, so Enlightened Tutor. Oh, I got David needs to be flipped too. Okay. So David plays with an island, so that means so he went with the opposition. Interesting. So I guess he does have out of the sideboard he has like Ray of Revelation and stuff. And there is like counter magic. It's kind of awkward to ever like try and commit to like a turn 2 Wild Mongo or something or Merfolk Looter if you're just afraid of Oath coming down.
I mean, opposition's very good against Nishobas, but Andrew always runs Enchantment and Artifact Hate main deck. Let me see what he's got in his Oath list.
I mean, at that point, you might have counter magic up if you're able to.
Sure. He's got one Aura of Silence.
He's a seal cleansing too, right?
And a Seal Cleansing. Yep.
Yeah. All right, let me update these deck names. I got the life that Andrew paid for his fetch land.
All right, chat. Who's going to win? Is Oath going to take it home, or is opposition going to overwhelm the Oath deck?
I mean, I think on paper, I feel like I like the Oath deck, and it seems like there's been so many times we've seen the Oath deck come into play, and we count it out. We say like Andrew can't win from this position.
Well, that's why I've been saying, like,
And he-
knee jerk, just ban that deck because it just grinds and it just stays in the game long enough and it eventually gets there. Like, Andrew's been playing this deck for a year now and tuning and tuning and tuning, and it's in a really good spot. I mean, it's really well thought out.
The namesake card has been played, so
Lotus Petal?
yeah.
I knew it. I knew it.
Does David have anything to deal with this in the main?
I don't think so, but let me check. No.
So if there's an oath in play, what is David's game plan at this point?
Get an opposition into play and have counter magic backup.
He also, I guess. Okay, so we see a quiet speculation. I mean, that can get Cabal therapies, but that's not that good since the oath's already in play.
Mm-hmm. Don't you wish Ancient Grudge was legal in this
Yes,
format?
yeah, that's a card that just feels okay for the format. So
Yeah, I really wish it was.
2 Acorn Harvest, and I think it's a deep analysis. So I don't think Acorn Harvest is getting cast anytime soon. That seems like a good way to trigger Oath for Andrew.
Yeah.
But he might just be thinking, I don't want to draw these cards and rather them out of my deck.
Grave Distortion probably not good enough. Comical flop.
I do like Ray of Revelation, though.
Love that card.
Yeah.
So 3 mana here. So there's the aura. So anticipating opposition. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
Yeah, Ray of Distortion's a little bit clunky.
Just a bit.
But you can bend people's swords. That's what the art's doing. I don't know if you're aware of it.
Yep, yes.
I didn't know if it had come up for you, so. All right, we see Scroll Rack. That is getting countered by Circular Logic. So.
Thanks, Robin.
How many? There's not that many counter spells in David's deck. It's just 4 Circular Logic and some Mana Leaks. I was gonna say, like, is he just able to counter all the relevant spells for Andrew? But there's too many. At this point, there's Funeral Pyre, Gaia's Blessing, and I mean the Phantom Nishobas too.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's because even if you counter things like Scroll Rack, if the game goes long enough, blessings eventually start to hit, and he gets to shuffle everything back in.
I mean, I don't see a good path to victory for David for this first game. Do you? It just seems like what. I mean, I guess if you string together Arrogant Worms at some point, then maybe you could, like. But it just seems so hard. Deep Analysis is cast.
Yeah. It's down to 17.
Okay. Another quiet speculation. Is this just gonna get Roar of the Worm and 2 Cabal therapies? Is there more deep analysis? I don't know.
Let me look. So David's got just the 1 deep analysis in his main deck.
Okay.
So he's got Roar, he's got Cabal therapy.
So did he just get 1 Cabal therapy and that's it?
Yeah.
So does that mean he has the Roar of the Worm in his hand, or he wants to draw it?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to thin his deck out, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm saying he didn't get Roar of the Worm, and he only got 1 Cabal therapy. He didn't get
2. Yeah.
So I was just saying about the Roar of the Worm. Does that mean it's in his hand, or does that mean that he's planning on casting it when he draws it for 7 mana and trying to get two 6s to do something? I don't know. Because I mean that might be as narrow as it seems. That might be one of the ways that maybe he could win is having 2 6s in play.
6.
Yes.
I know what you mean. I got you.
I think it means it's in his hand, but
I think you're probably right. I mean, he's obviously not trying to play around Funeral Pyre, right? I mean,
Oh, he
the
can't.
right speculation, like
He he
he
wouldn't be
just
able
can't
to.
afford to wait.
All right, so he's played
Oh, here we
2
go.
creatures. So that seems tricky too, because it's like playing 2 that Andrew's gonna get 2 activations.
Does he have two oaths?
No, but I mean like over the course of, it's not like
Oh,
Dave's gonna like untap and kill him. All right. So in game 1, the only creature that Andrew will be able to flip is Phantom Nishoba.
yep.
All right. So the Beast Spirit. I think it might be a cat Beast Spirit. No, I'm not sure.
He's a beast spirit.
It's
Maybe
not.
it's a spirit beast.
Well, the old one
Maybe
says.
maybe it's a spirity beast spirit.
All right. Let's look at the errata on this card.
Cat beast spirit is the
All
official
right.
ruling.
There we go. Very important.
So when you play your engineered plagues, folks, remember to name cat.
Or Beast or Spirit.
But if you're a dog person, you name cat.
Sure.
But if you're a cat
Well,
person, you name beast.
just because you're a dog person, does that mean you're anti-cat? Like, what if you just like both of them and just like dogs more?
If you're both, you name spirit.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely don't name Beast then. If you hate both cats and dogs, then you name Beast. So. All right. So yeah, I find, I mean, I guess the next turn David could discard presumably that Roar the Worm that's in his hand and flash it back. But I don't know, that's just going to end up with another 6/6 or another Phantom Nishoba in under Andrew's control.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if he discards Wonder, then well, no, that's still not good. I was going to say, because it's like he wants his creatures to die, but he doesn't want them to get blocked because Phantom Nishoba has quote-unquote lifelink. But he's just going to get raced. I don't know, it seems tricky in either situation. So here's the Llanowar Wastes. Presumably a Cabal Therapy is being cast. I don't know what you would name. Cabal Therapy. I don't know. I feel like half the cards are in play for Andrew already. Just name like Moments Piece. I don't know. Looks like 3 lands and a Sylvan Library.
Sylvan. Yeah.
I mean, I guess from this point, David could sack his creatures, but there's already a Nishoba in play.
Did I ever tell you about the time I ripped the 5th edition Sylvan Library in half?
Nope. Did you do it intentionally?
I did. I bought 2 from a guy and they felt off.
Oh.
And so I just ripped one in half. I bought them and then I ripped one in half and I was like, nope, it was real. And then I kept the other one.
Did you get a buy one get one free deal? Is that what it was?
I did not. No. I felt like a real jerk afterwards, but
Did you do it right in front of him too?
oh well. I didn't. No, I didn't. I wasn't mean about it.
Hopefully they have the same texture, because otherwise, did you like rip up the real one and keep the fake one? Is that what you did?
No, they felt the same, but they felt light and like way too bendy, and I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they felt way too bendy.
Did you do a light test?
So I did rip one. I did not, but I've heard that that's mixed and that's not actually like 100% guarantee. So I did the old bendy and then the old rippy.
Yeah, I've done it with like the light on my phone and then put it against, and you can kind of like see how it goes through. Are life totals still accurate? 16 to 18. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We have another Oath of Druids trigger, and a guy is bussing, and a dragon scales has been revealed, and a phantom Neshoba. This phantom Neshoba is even bigger because of dragon scales. This dragon scales. Do you think this card is needed in this deck?
I don't, but I would be interested to ask Andrew why he included it.
How many situations, like, because if they're not like attacking, if you play, assuming you don't get the dragon breath and you just have a phantom Neshoba, how likely are they able to like kill you by attacking the next turn? And if you do attack, like, isn't the 7 life enough? I don't. Like, do you really need to block again? I don't know.
I mean, against maybe you just put one in the board against Sly if you're really that worried about your life total.
Sure. It just seems like a card it just seems like a card I'd never want to draw. I mean, you do have Scroll Rex to put it away, but still, it's like, I feel like every time you draw this card, you just look at it and you look at this weird green dragon man with a mace for a hand and say, why did I put you in my deck?
That is a weird. That's a dragon, man. I told you. Not supposed to show up until the time is right.
Yes. Stay
back in the deck.
Yes.
He's just like that guy behind stage. Is that my cue? Is that my cue? Is that my cue?
Yeah, I guess
He will tell you when it's your cue.
I guess David probably has some of the feels. Like, if you draw Acorn Harvest, how happy are you about that? Are you happy to draw an Acorn Harvest?
Not really.
No.
Not without an opposition.
Nope. I mean, I like the art better on Acorn Harvest than Dragon Scales. There's some sweet, rabid, fat squirrels.
Absolutely.
But
I killed many a person back in the day in Standard with an Acorn Harvest, Parallel Evolution, Squirrel Nest, Coat of Arms deck that I built. Very fun. Not very good, but very fun.
is Parallel Evolution from Torment? Or Odyssey, or...
Yeah.
Torment, okay.
I think it was an Odyssey, actually.
Torment. I just pulled it up.
Was it Torment?
Or are you thinking like Verdant Succession or something? No, it's only
that
non-token. Okay. Okay. I see cards getting scooped up. I think the opposition came down and the Aura Silence was used. And the dragon scaled Neshoba was enough to finish David off. So yeah, that's not too surprising given the way like those first two turns went. Like, with an Oath coming down right away, it's very difficult for David to win that first game. So let's go over to the decks. We'll see what the sideboard looks for David. Opposition. Okay. I see some cards that look good.
Excellent.
I see 2 Naturalize, 2 Rave Revelation.
What do you got?
2 Naturalize, 2 Rave Revelation. I'm very excited about those cards. I don't know if Coffin Purge fights the guys bussing enough to bring it in. I don't think it's good enough. Also, I probably want Deep Analysis because, like, Andrew doesn't really pressure David's life. That could seem pretty good. Cards that I do not want. I might just take out the opposition package, but maybe not. Because I guess if you're able to answer the Seal of Cleansing...
I think that's his way to win. I think that's his way to win.
Well, you could just plan on killing Oath and then attacking with creatures. Basically be a Blue-Green Madness deck. Like, I don't know, having 3 Quiet Speculation and just being able to Rave of Revelation pretty much at any time is hard for... that way you're just able to commit the rest of your cards to, like, attacking. I don't know, it'd be interesting. I mean, I can see leaving the oppositions in, but... I think it's reasonable to take them out.
What do you take out if you're David?
Probably Acorn Harvest. And Merfolk. Well, I don't. It depends on your game plan, I guess. Because I think like if you're taking out the oppositions, then I think like the Merfolk looters are better, I guess. That seems weird to say why, but I don't know if I want to take out the counter magic. I mean,
like counter magic.
Maybe Mana Leak, because actually Andrew's spells are pretty cheap. I can see taking out Mana Leak maybe. But all right, let's go over to Andrew's. I can see what.
But do you take him out on the play?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
So Tormod's Crypt is definitely a card that could come in. It's like one of those cards that it's like, it's fine. It's not backbreaking. I guess it's like pretty good against Circular Logic if you're worried about that. But like the rest of the cards, you'll get some value. I guess. I don't know. Andrew has liked Elephant Grass a lot. I mean, it has some value, but I don't know if I would bring it in. Defense Grid is reasonable. Back to Basics is... I think there are a decent number of non-basics in David's deck. I don't think there are enough islands to bring in Choke, but maybe. Crater Hellion seems really good.
Yeah. I like Crater Hellion. I like Defense Grid. And maybe Crypt.
What cards are you taking
He's
out?
got 9 non-basics in his deck.
That's not as many as I thought, I guess.
If I'm Andrew, I think... Yeah, if I'm Andrew, I think I take out...
Dragon
maybe
Scales.
Worthy Cause, because he's not as worried about spot removal.
Yeah, I don't
And
think...
Dragon Scales, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
What if you just take out Dragon's Breath, too?
Yeah. I think that's understandable.
Do you take out Funeral Pyre or no?
No, I think you leave it in. It's just so good against flashback cards, too. I'm going to do a quick refresh.
All right.
Hey, guys.
All right.
I have to refresh. That's a little frozen.
You can let them know they can start whenever they're
You guys
ready.
can start whenever you are ready. We are ready for you. I'm going to mute you. Good luck in game 2, gentlemen.
All right. So the first game went to Andrew. Let's update that.
So if Andrew wins, he's just in.
Yes. That's all he needs is one more game.
My goodness. This has been a fun series.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
So, chat, what is your favorite deck to watch out of all the decks that have been played in the Premodern Showdown series? Flint, what is your favorite one?
My favorite match?
No, your favorite deck to watch.
Ooh, that's really tough. My favorite deck to watch has probably been Stasis. Just kidding. My favorite has probably been the Artifact Burn deck that Patrick put together. It was creative, it's powerful, and that land still matchup where Patrick played Mike Arnold was a really, really intense, fun match to watch. It was really close. What about you?
I think either Full English Breakfast or Blue White Landstill, I think, are the... from like a commentator's perspective, I think they're really interesting. It's fun to talk about all the different things that they can do. The Landstill games, the games go long, and so there's usually decision points. like long decision trees that could go out and like say, well, if I would have taken it this direction, a lot of things would have been different or whatnot. But yeah, the same with like the full English breakfast. As soon as you have a survival in play, there's a lot of different options.
It looks like people are saying Enchantress, Stasis, Oath versus Oath, full English breakfast.
It's a lot of variety.
Yeah, that's great, and that's how the format is, right? I mean, it's so representative of how diverse this format is. There was an Astral Slide deck in the top 16.
Yep. Well,
for September.
That's
amazing.
It only played one Astral Slide, and that might be the reason why it did better. I mean, like, because
sure,
all the versions that I start with have 4 of those, and I mean, they're just a lot of the creature decks either go under that or don't care that much about Astral Slide. A lot of decks, yeah, it's just not that good. So maybe that's something to revisit. I know I've dismissed Red White Astral Slide a lot of the times, but maybe you just play the Enlightened Tutors and only play one.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's just so cool, right? And did you see Jens Jaeger's Survival Metalworker deck?
Only a little bit, but I thought I'd seen that list like from the Mythic Society tournaments.
I hadn't seen it there before, so this was the first time that I had seen it, but it was blown away. It looks so fun to play.
So Treetop Village comes down right away, and then Merfolk Looter. So this is where like David can like commit to the board because he just has so many more answers to an Oath of Druids that gets resolved. And we do see a Torment Script. So,
yep.
Ooh, well, I don't know if there is a land, but okay. I was thinking he was attacking with Merfolk Looter, but that he was drawing a card. that makes more sense.
Wait, you actually draw cards with Merfolk Looter? I mean, I just beat down plan all day. That's how I usually play that.
There might be times. Ooh, so this is an Acorn Harvest. So he's able to discard it right away and then maintain priority and then flash it back and get back the tokens.
So he's got enchantment removal in his hand, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's pretty brazen if he doesn't.
Yeah, there's more. Another Treetop Village is added. So, yeah, I mean, I could definitely see like David just applying pressure, and now if he just blows up the first Oath that comes down, then he'll probably have a good amount of time. Okay, we do see Elephant Grass. The thing about this here is how much damage does this really save Andrew? So it prevents these tokens from attacking. I mean, he still could pay 2 mana and attack for 1. So he's saving a damage, but it's using up Andrew's mana. I mean, I don't know if he would be able to use the mana. It just doesn't seem that effective. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean it buys him a little bit of time, but I think it's peanuts. Like it's not going to matter that much in terms of the damage. I know Andrew loves Elephant Grass, and Andrew, when you watch this, we love you too. And maybe it's not a bad decision, but it's not something that I would have boarded in.
It just seems awkward, like when you're tying up your mana so early in the game. I mean, I guess like I had said before, a lot of his cards are pretty cheap, but it just seems like when you play it early, you're committing to it. And I mean, if David develops his board, then you have this Elephant Grass, and eventually you're not going to be able to pay for it, and then you have this huge board that you're facing. I mean, there's still Moment's Peace, I guess, in his deck too that he could use, but.
So David's flashing back Deep Analysis. He's going to go down to 13.
Oh, he's at 13 already?
Yeah. It also looks like there's more.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would say I made Andrew take 3 from the Acorn Harvest. That'd be pretty good if that was the case.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. I was just going to say there's more love for full English breakfast, Reanimator, and the blue-black Squee Infestation deck, which again, James Smith's played that in the monthly. Patrick played a version of it in the Showdown series here, and I really do like the synergy in that deck. It's just a deck where every card works so well with the others. Now, granted, you have to have the Infestation, but there are ways to get it. I really, really like that deck.
Okay, so we see the Elephant Grass. Is that 2? Another land comes down and then a Lotus Petal.
Mm-hmm.
Those Lotus Petals getting used right away.
Yeah, Aura of Silence.
Ah, okay.
Pretty much one of the only 3 mana spells that Andrew plays in the deck.
And Merfolk Looter draws and discards a Basking Rootwalla. So
Perfect.
no circular logic, or David didn't want to actually use it on this. But so what point do you start paying mana and attacking with stuff? I mean, all your guys are 1/1s other than. Are we getting a Treetop Village? Oh no, here's another Deep Analysis.
Okay, so he brought the other one in.
Well, I think he had 2 in his board.
Oh, he did? Okay, got it.
One in the main and 2 in the board, I think.
Delete the Radio says, I pulled a Volrath Shapeshifter in one of the first packs of cards I ever bought and have been in love with the card ever since. Full English Breakfast has validated that love. Appreciate it. I pulled one and I pulled a couple in Stronghold packs myself. Really cool card. Always wanted to see it completely broken, and Full English Breakfast is a really, really strong use for it.
I think it's unfortunate. I think that card's actually like bugged on Magic Online. It just doesn't.
It is.
So that one's not able to be played online, which is unfortunate. I don't know actually
Really sad.
I don't know actually what the bug is, but
I don't either. I just had remembered that, I don't know if it's Saffron Olive had said it in one of his videos that it was bugged, or where I read it, but
I mean, I can
it's sad
see
that we don't see that deck.
I can see that card being bugged because that seems like a difficult one to program.
And a difficult one to play with
Yes.
as well, as we've seen.
All right, so these Merfolk Looters are just going to be a great asset to David. Like,
Yep.
okay, so he's got a naturalize. Is this on that? Okay, the Aura of Silence, it looks like. So that if he just untaps and has a opposition, then Andrew's pretty much dead, right?
He needs the opposition with counter backup, right?
Why
So-
why doesn't he counter back up?
Just Scylla Cleansing.
Well, it's a sorcery speed card. He's got 6 guys in play.
Oh.
And
yeah.
in later turns he's gonna have, like, I don't know if Andrew's ever gonna be able to cast another relevant spell.
Funeral Pyre here.
I don't consider that one a relevant spell, so
He's putting his own spirit into play. Yeah, delete the radio. Big bummer that it's bugged in Magic Online. Shapeshifter is such a creative card. It's incredibly difficult to play with, but it really is one of a kind.
all right, so I guess this opposition plan seems to make sense in terms of what David's doing. I mean, I can see him setting up the same game plan for the second match, because if Andrew's not pressuring his life, he's going to be able to draw a bunch of cards, and then if he's just going to answer the Oath of Druids, and then eventually he's going to answer like Seal Cleansing or whatever, and then opposition's going to seal the deal.
So, is he waiting for Andrew to pay for the elephant grass?
Yeah, you might as well, because otherwise, if he just uses it, he's just going to float the mana and then pay for it anyways. So
Yeah.
yeah, because Andrew has to, yeah. But now 5 lands are tapped.
All right, we get to see opposition do its thing.
I have a question. At end of turn, do you use Merfolk Looter to draw a card, or tap Torment Script? Or tap the token? There's a Wasteland for a Treetop Village? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I guess
fine.
it depends on what you have, right?
I think you just draw a card. I don't think it...
He
I
doesn't
don't-
really have anything great in his graveyard, does he?
No.
So he's not that worried about it.
Discards a Yavimaya Coast. Alright, so now... Do you just chip in?
Down.
Yeah. Here's another Merfolk
Another
Looter.
loot, or
What he really wants is Arrogant Worm. Or Roar the Worm would be good too. He just says go. I'll tap a bunch of permanents. He still has. Is he able to activate the Treetop Village or just?
No, not right
No.
now.
Okay.
He has 3 islands and a treetop.
So he should not have tapped that Yavimaya Coast, right?
Yavimaya Coast, yeah.
But I don't think that'll matter. But so, what's Andrew gonna do here?
He's gonna pass. Oh,
All right.
there's the worm.
Perfect. All right. What's next? What more does he need? Nothing. But there's a deep analysis.
Discards a deep analysis.
Yep. I'd use that tournament script, I think. What are we talking about right now? Oh, he's still tapping something. Tapping the token. Tapping the torment script. What's going on?
I'm not sure. Let me just.
Okay, tapping the torment script. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know if maybe one of them thought maybe you couldn't tap like summoning sick creatures, but.
So. Is that Incanar? I love seeing opposition doing its thing again after all these years. I do too. You know, it was rough to play against at times back in the day, but it is cool to see it actually work in this format because it's not as powerful, but when you can make it work, it's very nostalgic.
But it's also nice that we get to view it and we don't have to experience playing against it. So
Absolutely.
So, maybe if you're in Andrew's position, you might not be as excited about it being on the other side of the table, but. I do kind of like it though as a card. It's like a payoff for playing creatures, which I feel like almost you need a payoff for because there's the creatures in this format just are not relative to what modern day is. They're so bad.
So Andrew's at 15 and David's at 11.
Okay. All right. So this torment script is going to exile basically
a deep analysis.
I mean, also it makes circular logic a lot worse. So.
Sure.
But I don't think Andrew will have that much mana to pay for spells anyways. So. I mean, he's casting a Enlightened Tutor. He can.
This is during his upkeep too, right? Because
Sure.
I think David went to tap his lands.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there anything he can get? A Lotus Petal. I don't.
So if he goes, land, Lotus Petal, Seal of Cleansing.
But there's still. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Fair. So if he doesn't have Seal Cleansing in hand or the other land, he just needs to not play it, right?
Correct.
He doesn't have that many more turns, but yeah, that's his out, I think.
Yep.
Oh, I thought he was playing another opposition. Okay. Yeah, I guess if he did end up casting like a Seal Cleansing, David can just attack.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's just dead.
Yeah.
Andrew's dead. Yep.
A million gazillion.
Robin's right. Yeah, he's dead. All right, game 3. Ooh, all right. Down to the wire as Robin and others watch and chat to see if there's the possibility that others can get into the top 4.
So that game was the complete opposite of the first game, where the first game was just kind of a domination by the Oath deck after it resolved Oath. And that game seemed like it seemed like David was in control pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, that went much, much, much better for David.
Do you think that changes anything of how Andrew wants to play?
I think so. He grabbed his sideboard immediately. So maybe he's gonna board out those elephant grass and put in something else or put back in other things, and we'll ask him about it afterward.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a request in chat to ban Rootwalla. It is clearly the 10th piece of power.
I love Rootwalla.
You can't ban Rootwalla. He's so cute.
This is like the
He's just such an endearing card.
the best. I mean, obviously he's joking, but
Yeah, obviously.
I like the design of cards that are. It's like a mana sink, but it's never like oppressive in any way. I think it's just like a perfect power level. I mean, Oh yeah, yeah.
The original Rootwalla.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair
All
enough.
right. All right. That
I
one
feel
was that from Tempest originally? Yes.
I believe so. Yeah. I feel like Baskin Rootwalla is just so cute. He's like a goblin lackey that nibbles on you just a little bit. You know, maybe for 1 damage, maybe for 3, but he's just so cute that you can't be mad at him. You know, you're like, ah, look at this little guy.
How is he like a goblin lackey? He's nothing like a goblin lackey.
He's a good turn 1 play. You know, you careful study into him or whatever.
Yeah, but lackey's a card that like you just fear like on turn one.
Well,
Like
they're alike in that they're good turn 1 plays. They are disparate in that lackey is terrifying and that Rootwalla is cute. And so, if you want to ban lackey, yeah, not Rootwalla.
yeah, I like this little guy. He's like one of those lizards. He's like the lizard that does the push-ups, you know?
He's very broad-chested.
No, you like those. You've never seen like those little lizards that just like. That's my trying to do a push-up on camera.
I'm gonna need to see that impression.
All right, is it
times.
an anal?
I will be looking this up later.
You've never seen
This
those
was
guys?
amazing.
Have you ever
No,
gone to
but-
Florida? Like, I feel like I don't know if it's. Okay, chat, back me up. There's definitely like the little anals that like they like do little anoli. Sorry,
It's Anoli.
sorry. They do little push-ups.
I've been to Orlando for a research training, like a fellowship that I did for like a week there, but that's it. That's my Florida experience.
I know we always saw like I don't know if they were anoles or geckos or whatever, like on the walls of like the hotel. And my brother and my goal was to catch one. We did not. Ooh, also, we went to Orlando for my 30th birthday, my wife and I, and we were sitting at the bar. We were just hanging out, and I was watching the lizards that were on the bush, and like a stork or a swan or some pelican bird, some big bird had like come down, and it just ate one out of the bush, just and it's like
No.
I'm like oh my goodness. So
I hate that. Like reptiles are the best. That makes me so sad.
yeah,
Ryan can confirm push-up lizard is a
Yeah.
thing.
yes.
Sick gains lizards.
Have you ever heard of like the horny toad lizard? So this is
Yes.
we're going west into like the desert.
Yes.
So they
I
they
have.
do like a little like dance, and apparently it's like pick up water like in their moisture. Like I don't know how it works, but at least this is what I heard a long time ago. This I could have been lied to when I was a
Do
little
we
kid.
do we have any zoologists in the chat who can confirm this?
I know one.
Is Turtle Man here? Maybe Turtle Man can confirm.
Oh, I just know
And
one.
by that I mean Jared Saitowski.
I just know the one from Odyssey. That's the only one I know. I read the comment. Okay, so if you find yourself facing a root wall, call a flavor judge. If opponent tries to attack you with it, that creature is clearly a wall. Yeah.
Root wall.
It's
Yeah, it's a wall with a bunch of roots.
it's like a
It's like a 0-5 for 2.
oh yes. Well, I was thinking of wall of wood. I'm like or trap root kami. I don't know why.
Wallowwood is old school. Love it.
I bought a beta one because it was like 25 cents.
Nice.
I don't know. There was a guy who was selling a bunch of damaged cards. And like that was one of them. And I'm like, all right, I'll buy this wall of wood, this beta wall of wood.
So it looks like Andrew's thinking. Is he still boarding? What's going on?
I guess so. Looks like you just put cards back. I don't know. I've been not paying attention.
Listen, you got to look up Traproot Kami.
I just did. Did you not see it?
It just showed up.
Oh, okay. I got wall of wood up there now.
Do you remember when they printed Umezawa's Jitte in, I know this isn't pre-modern talk, but it was in one of the theme decks?
Mm-hmm. I have a story about that.
I have a story about that as well, which is why I brought it up. Can I tell you mine first? Because it's really short.
Yes.
So once it started to blow up, I went to all the Targets and Walmarts in the area and bought up all the theme decks that I could find. And so now I have about 15 Jittes.
Nice.
And I was just real proud of myself. But I probably spent more money than I had at the time. And in the long run, it wasn't the smartest thing. But felt good at the time.
All right. David's feeling good right now. You can tell. It's a smiley face. I guess it doesn't show us up as well when we have his camera tilted. But so my story was similar, but it was on Magic Online, and at the time, it was like, I think it was just 10 tickets, and it cost like $10 to buy. So, I mean, I don't think I just like bought a bunch. I think I only bought one, but then immediately sold the card and then had 10 tickets. But I would go on Magic Online and like, this was the point before there were a bunch of bots. So cards that were less than a ticket would often be like I think Nizubi Grave Robber was like 2 for 1. So you could sell you could trade them at that value for 50 cents. Or I would like find some bots that if you sold 2 of them, I could get a ticket. But I would just like grind these cards all day long and spent like a day to get like 2 tickets worth of value. I should have just like worked at McDonald's and like earned some small amount of money, but it was better spent me just grinding the Magic Online trades.
Nice. Very nice. Delete the Radio says that they did the same thing with the Megrim Precon from Stronghold that had Ensnaring Bridge. I think they won, because I'm pretty sure Ensnaring Bridge is worth a lot more money than Umezawa's Jitte.
It's gone down. I think it was just reprinted. Oh, I get to see early, but the chat doesn't. That's unfortunate for them.
Yeah, early the dog is sitting in my background right now, just kind of looking over at me like, hey, are you still on this damn computer thing? Early, come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Hey, bud.
Does Early ever get angry?
He does not. He's more of an anxious dog than an angry dog.
Does he ever get dirty?
All the time.
All right. So then maybe this is the appropriate dog. I feel like that's kind of an insult to poor Early. You're probably looking at the last one.
I see Wallerwood right now.
Oh, well, there's 2 more dogs that are coming up.
Mad dog. All right, so we do see an oath for Andrew and just a delta for David. So being on the play and dropping that second turn is pretty powerful. Filthy Cur, you son of a...
He said he got dirty.
His nose gets a little dirty when he tries to bury things, but that's all.
All right. My dogs would roll in poop.
I actually want to send some early harvest to an altar artist and have them put his face on early harvest, so it's just him in a field.
You have to play the Mana Flare combo more. Though.
Yes, absolutely.
Or we could just allow Brimstone Dragon to be legal.
There we go. Hey, bud. So David here plays Swamp and then just passes.
I think he's just gonna wait till he gets a way to remove the Oath of Druids,
and he should have several, right?
He has 4 different cards, and 3 Quiet Speculations would get Array of Revelation. All right. Polluted Delta is fetched. So do you think there's any hesitation there? Because if he is worried about Funeral Pyre, So here's a quiet speculation. So he's able to get Ray of Revelation and use it right away?
Yeah. Yep. Obviously want to wait.
Sure. I guess I'm thinking that there was a Torment script in play, but there's not.
So what does he get? 2 rays and deep analysis?
Yeah.
Seems
Yes.
good.
So do you think there's any merit to not getting the second Ray of Revelation? I guess not. I mean, I was thinking that you are worried about Torment script, but I think that's being a little bit too cautious. Because this way he's able to play creatures and have the next Oath of Druids covered.
It definitely slows Andrew down, if that's what Andrew wants to do.
Well, and this allows David to develop his board.
Yeah. Yep. So it looks like David's down to 19.
I have him at 18, one for the fetch land, one from Ray of Revelation.
Andrew missed it. Let me just
Okay.
message them and let him
But
know.
in the meanwhile, back to basics. We'll keep that Yavimaya Coast tapped. But I mean, eventually he's going to draw a forest, and there's a Ray of Revelation. So if it's that big of a deal, David can get rid of it. So this does not seem like the most effective. Because is that a swamp? Is that the first card?
Yeah.
I think so. Okay.
Really needs that green mana.
But yeah. When Andrew just has back to basics and then like doesn't do anything.
So flashing back deep analysis going to 15.
Do you think maybe there's a choke? Are we choking back to basics?
Oh my god, he's done it before, right?
Yes. What is happening? Wait. How did those get in play? Do you have to discard a hand size?
I guess, yeah. That would be the only way.
I mean, I don't see like a careful study or anything.
He just untapped his Yavimaya Coast.
Yes. Okay. I think we
Okay.
corrected that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the lizard beatdown has commenced. Is he discarding this too? Another deep analysis? Alright, so David really needs another land. Push up lizard time, indeed.
Yeah, hashtag push up lizard time. Someone make us a push up lizard emote for our channel.
Alright, so the Seal of Cleansing comes down preemptively. So it'd be interesting. I don't know if we'll ever get to the point, but of what enchantments David chooses to target with. Oh, he's circular logic. Okay.
Hard cast it, yeah.
Okay. Flashback deep analysis.
Yep. Got a 12.
Yep. All right. There's a forest. So, do you think... Here's a wild mongrel. Are you interested in blowing up this back to basics or no? I don't think you are.
No, not right now. No. He's got pressure. Andrew needs to react here. If Andrew plays an oath, he can deal with it. What he's worried about is a crypt and an oath.
Sure. I mean, at this point, he might have drawn one of the two naturalizes, too.
That's fair.
All right.
So we're going to see some moments piece here from Andrew. Does he run it in this deck?
Yeah, he has 4.
Oh.
But I mean, it's fine. What card is that? Oh, I think it's a Pluto Delta. I think it's one of the expeditions.
Ooh, fancy boy.
Mm-hmm. And here comes in 2 lizards and a dog.
Walking into a bar.
Yep. So there's no moments piece there. And now it's 2 dogs and 2 lizards.
Mike Arnold, that's totally fair. Yes, he runs it. I just wasn't sure if it was in this deck or another deck,
Or
but it makes sense for it to be in this deck.
all of them. It's in all the decks.
So it looks like Andrew's not drawn great. He's hoping for some good variance here, and it's not paying off.
Yeah, Sylvan
There's a
Library.
library.
Yeah, I don't think.
No, leave it alone.
Yeah, I don't think you're too worried about that. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
you see 3 cards deeper, but oh, blue gets a dog. I'll show it to you. I mean, it's not very good, but it gets one.
Cephalid Hound.
It looks pretty good. It looks pretty cool, but it's not very good.
So David's at 11 and Andrew's at 12 here. Ooh.
The chat filter was originally not letting
Oh, the
Mongrel. Did not like Mongrel. I had to approve that message.
So knocking Andrew down to 8. And he's got an opposition in play. So now what's he is he going after Andrew's white mana?
Looks
I can't
like
see
it.
with the glare there.
He has 1 plains,
White
1
and blue.
island, yeah,
Yeah.
a mountain, and also it'd be really funny if Andrew has non-basics from this point, because there's an opposition and a back to basics in play. So David would just tap down the non-basic and it never untaps.
Yep. So the sideboard working out real well for David here.
Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine that like this was in his mind of how the games are going to go. That he's like, okay, I'm willing to pretty much just lose the first game,
Game over.
and then
Wow.
really come back the next 2. So
All
we do.
right,
We do
2-1
see,
David Daniel.
yes.
Let's I'll have him unmute.
All right.
You don't need me. Write it yourself and I'll check it.
No, I write it. It's just a word pronunciation problem.
Okay.
Hey, can you guys hear us?
That's what you do.
Hey guys.
Yas.
All right. Well, congratulations, David. That was a fun match to watch.
That was good.
Definitely, you had your work cut out for
so,
you. The first game, it didn't seem like you could do much, but it seemed like you had a game plan for the second and third game.
Yeah, so Andrew and I have actually tested all of these matchups before. Like, we've played these decks against each other, and I lose every game 1 in this matchup.
Yeah.
But my sideboard is really good against him.
Sure.
So, like, it's just like turn 2 oath, game 1. I was like, whatever, I'll just lose this one.
Fine.
I'm super dead. It's fine. But,
I get a note that the best chance I have is that I hit the Crater Hellion on the first strike. You know, just like, it slap all your creatures away and then
I
watch
was a
it
little
die.
afraid. I was a little afraid you're gonna like Lotus Petal and cast Greater Hellion and just blow me out.
Oh my god, that been.
Happens.
Yeah, I got all of the mana.
What cards did you take out, David?
Actually bring out therapies in this matchup. They're just like not good. Like he can turn 1 to oath me. It's like all of the other cards in his deck are kind of inconsequential.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at his deck list and just no other cards I care about. And if he can just play oath on turn 1, these are just dead cards. And I have so few black sources that casting a turn 1's kind of out of the question most of the time. They're
Sure.
more for like quiet speculation combos in the mid to late game. I took out Wonder and I took out 2 Ruwalas.
Okay.
David, just so you know, those are push-up lizards moving forward. So
Push-up
that's what you have
lizards?
to call them, push-up lizards, because they
Push-up.
push-ups.
You'll have to watch the. You'll have to watch.
Yeah, watch the video to
You
figure
have
it
to
out.
watch the stream to
But
figure out
you
the
have to call
context
it
of
a
that.
push-up lizard now.
I mean, I could see it, yeah.
Are you aware of any lizards that do push-ups?
Um,
No. Well, then It could be an it could be an educational stream then.
Is there an actual lizard?
Yeah, there's like lizards. They said that someone said it was to regulate their heart. But yeah, there's definitely like lizards that do like push-up motions. They'll like stand still, but then they just basically just do a little push-up, and they'll just do it over and over a couple times. But
Oh, yep.
Flint had not heard of that. He thought I was making it up.
Doing it right now.
So, all right. So,
You know.
Andrew, it looks like you have a lot of cards that you brought in. What are you taking out to bring in all those cards? Oh, I can't. Okay. All right.
I took out at the second game. Like,
Oh, your camera just flipped, so I wasn't sure if.
you got me?
Yep.
Yeah. Took out some of the moments, but took out all of them because they're sort of like if he gets to the point where he's got creatures, it's to that degree it's too late to really fog because he's gonna have me locked out. So popped those out. Popped out the scale and the Showbird to bring in the two creatures.
Okay.
Because either of those creatures hit, I'm at least in a better situation. If the Crater Hellion hits, I board wipe his side. Even if I lose it on the upkeep, I at least took out a horde of problems. If I get the Angel, it can't be targeted, so I get potentially the chance to swing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I mean, it's like you were at 11. I would have needed 3 hits, and it would start making him unable to flashback deep analysis and stuff because the 3 life would actually mean something at that point if I'm able to swing through for 4.
Okay.
I had choke, but it didn't come out fast enough.
We thought you might have ordered that.
Oh yeah. It's like he had all 3 things that would let me tap him down. So it's like, choke, back to basics, and Sabo's web all were functionally useful.
You forgot about the master of tapping things down.
I heard
Urza.
Yeah.
Your buddy Urza.
Yeah. Freaking Urza.
You're lucky.
This is always the game plan against his deck.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I was
he
thinking,
actually
I
can't beat
was
opposition.
I was like, if I played red, I was like, I'll be locked down, but at least I could have just been throwing burn at all the stupid creatures. I was hesitant to do it. Just like,
I think the other matchup is actually worse for you.
yeah, because of the Horn of Greeds. I'm thinking, I was like, I don't want to give you more cards.
Not only that, like it's the same problem you have with this matchup. Is the Stormbind is the only card I care about.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have so many ways to get it off the table.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're gonna sit back and be like, oh, bolt for a creature, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. Incinerate, whatever. Yeah, as long as you take out the Stormbind, it's like that deck's neutered really easy.
Right.
Somehow I got 2 draws. I got 1 draw with it, or I can't remember what the other one was. What the Oath deck too long against Ron, I think. Yeah. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, those are good games.
Yeah.
Those are very reminiscent of
Yeah.
we pressed it.
Yeah, and that's what like you guys didn't hear because the audio was off, or well, the viewers didn't. But as soon as I hit the 10 on his call of odd, I was like, woohoo! 1 game 1 of 3. So it's like I needed that for if I didn't have that. I was like, I know I can win game 1 without any board on either side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My opening hand had land, tutor, oath, Sylvan, rack. So I was like, okay, I can do stuff with that.
Mm-hmm.
Just get the pedal for safety.
Yeah, Mana Flare was an excellent ban from you. I think Mana Flare
Yeah.
was one for your decks.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
I
Yeah.
don't think I can win. It was like maybe I was like, man, I had the smallest chance if I didn't ban that deck, you would have had to leave Enchantress for me to have a chance. And I'm like, yeah, he's gonna ban
Never.
Enchantress. Yeah,
Never.
exactly. Never gonna happen.
I
I
hate
was like,
that
you're
deck.
not gonna. Yeah, so like, who's gonna let me do that? It's like that thing is the only thing with enough speed.
The goldfish versus goldfish.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
already got a new idea for a crazier, faster oath deck.
Uh-oh.
Dragon Tyrant with Chuck's Dragon's Breaths and a fling or 2. Like 8, 16, throw it at you. 24, done.
That sounds like the almost.
Flying is double strike. You just get like 4 Dragon's Breaths or Shadows or Scales.
Yeah. Then run like 4 Abeyance and 4 Orm's chance just to like screw the other person out of doing anything.
Well, don't tell the world your secrets, Andrew.
Yeah.
You gotta wait and
They don't give it to
surprise
you.
someone in the monthly.
Oh, it's gotta be a better creature. It's like I still think this is probably the best. That or this Thorn Elemental and maybe the Tyrant might be an interesting try, but this and Thorn are definitely the fastest. Like in my opinion, I like them the most. Just the life gain can deal with Cog.
Well, we were talking about the Oath deck before the match, and I said it earlier, and if you watch it, you'll see it. But kudos to you for fine tuning the Oath deck because it showed in the series. You lost tonight, but it showed in the series that it's very very resilient.
Yeah.
And so clearly you put the work in to get it where it's at today.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm still taking everybody's. The biggest comment's always putting in manlands, and I definitely think there's ways to squeeze that in.
Nantuko Monastery.
Oh yeah.
That card's sick.
4/4. Bring on your little factories. They're only a 3/3.
Yo, puny factories.
3/3. Even if you have 3 of them, well, 2 of them, yeah, that'd be a 4/4.
There.
Strike.
No match for an insect. Is that what it is? Is it an insect? I don't remember. It's a 4/4.
Yeah,
It's
it's a 4/4 first strike, right?
Does it happen? I think it's like a huge.
I don't think it's an
a-
insect. Let me bring it up.
Hold on. I got you.
Everybody gather.
Oh, no.
3, 2, 1, gather.
I think it's like a
It is a
monk
insect
or a
monk.
cleric. Oh, it is an insect. Okay.
All right. Nantuko, right? It's got to be an insect.
Yeah.
Whew.
Awkward.
I almost embarrassed myself. Oh. Awesome.
Now, Daniel, yeah, you'll just have to keep your fingers crossed for the other 2 matches.
Dude, I'm a Raiders fan. I've been doing this for years. Like, we can get the wild card slot if 16 teams lose and 14 teams win, but like one of those teams is always the Raiders, and then they never win anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Dude, I'm a Browns fan. I know the feeling.
Do you know a feeling? I don't know if it's the being in the wild card hunt.
All right. So, David, are you going to tune in on Wednesday and so you can figure out your fate when, given how Robin and Jared do?
I am certainly going to try. I'm still in the middle of moving. My computer is like the last thing I'm taking, so it's like still here at the other place. But
All right.
Sorry,
I'm
man.
certainly gonna try.
All right.
Like a haiku final score right there. 2-3-2.
Yes. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we go?
Oh, just
I
keep it
guess
off.
not.
Yeah. These videos, and it's awesome how
Yeah, thanks to you guys for
Wrong
hosting.
production,
Like,
yeah.
This is super cool. I didn't know you guys had all the fancy graphics. I watched them on the screen.
yeah.
Got their
I know,
stuff
sure.
together.
Like a random video, and he's like, "What the?" They were like, "You're on that?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Obviously.
Yes.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Don't know the
Awesome.
power of it. Uh-huh.
Well, thanks for the games, guys. They were really fun to watch, and congrats, David. We'll see how things work out on Wednesday. Andrew, always a pleasure to watch your combo decks and all your interactions. So we'll see how it pans out.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'll just bring up the standings again.
Night, guys.
So we see here tonight we had Ron defeated Mike Arnold. So Ron will be first seed. Michael could either be in third or I don't know what the tiebreaker is between him and Patrick. But so Patrick definitely wants to win on Wednesday. But then where it gets really interesting, so David ended up beating Andrew. So Andrew could have been the fourth place if he was able to win tonight. That didn't happen. So now David still has a shot at taking the fourth place. So what needs to happen is Jared needs to lose his match, and Robin also needs to lose his match for David. So now, from Jared's perspective, he just has a win in it because Andrew's already lost. So if he wins, he's in. And then if we're going down to Robin, if Jared loses and Robin wins, then he'll be the one who takes the fourth place. So there's still 3 people who can take this fourth place, so it'll still be really interesting. Looks like things will come down to the wire on our last match. So make sure you're tuning in on Wednesday so we can figure out the conclusion of the round robin portion of the Premodern Showdown series. And then next week, starting on Monday, we'll have our playoffs. We'll have the top 4 will play out on Monday, and then we'll have our championship match play out on Wednesday.
Michael, should we talk about how the championship match is going to go right now, or should we wait
Sure.
until Monday?
You can talk about it. Why don't you say something?
Right. So the way the championship match is going to go, folks, is there's still going to be the ban system, but what's going to happen is that people are going to have to win 2 best 2 out of 3 games. So they're going to pick their decks for the first match, and they'll bring their decks and they'll play a best out of 3. And then after that, they'll have to take their 2 remaining decks and play those against each other for a best out of 3. And if the same player wins both of those, then that player is the champion. But if it's a 1-1 draw after that, then they'll take their 2 banned decks and play in a final best of 3 to determine the overall champion.
So a little bit different, but kind of similar to what we've been doing. So we will see multiple decks on the championship day. So, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
I don't think so. Just, as always, thanks again to everyone for watching, and thanks for all of the people who have talked about our show and have promoted our show in various forms, and likewise we want to do the same. So if you haven't checked out our friends of the show, please do so. There's a lot of great pre-modern content and old school Magic content out there, so be sure to check that out. I think you'll find that nostalgia and some good gameplay will keep you coming back for more, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how things pan out on Wednesday. This is really exciting. I couldn't have asked for a better final night of our regular round robin.
Yep. I'd just like to add, just thank you everybody thank those who are, whether you've been tuning in the whole time or just started watching. We appreciate everyone. We really just enjoy the format and want to share it with everyone. So we're having a blast, and we hope you guys are too. So I guess until Wednesday, we will see you soon. Thanks for watching, and take care.